Hey, John here. Let's talk about something that happens during the development of a program, which is, I'm super simplifying it down here so you can focus on a very specific thing, and that is, you're stubbing in a function like this function here, f, and you know that someday you're going to do something with this variable, but right now you're not going to want to write. Maybe it needs to be some complex math you don't understand right now. You're going to work it out later. So maybe you want to stub in f and just return 1. I don't know, maybe 1 is a valid value of some kind, so you can just get on with the rest of your life. In code like this over here where something might need to call this function, and you can return a value that won't screw up the code over here, for example, but, give yourself a way to fill it in later, just to satisfy the compiler and stuff like that. But if you do this, and then you compile it, and you get an error like this, okay? Now, these are a lot of flags here on the compiler. Warn against all, known typical kind of mistakes that a person might make in their source code. Convert all the warnings into errors so that the make here, or the compiler itself, halts right away, okay? I'm expressing this in C++11, which is actually not that exciting or relevant for this particular conversation. Pedantic doesn't really do much in this particular example either, but these are the kind of things that you would put in there if you want to be, let the compiler let you know of anything that could ever, that it itself can figure out might be wrong with your program. And W extra in this particular case is the one flag that causes this particular warning to show up. This is actually an error in this case. So I use these sort of things all the time when I'm writing my programs so that I can, easily let the compiler find mostly their typo kind of things. When you're on a roll and you're in the flow and you're working on your code, I don't want to have to go and desk check everything. Just let the compiler find my errors. You do this, it's going to find all kind of stuff. Like, for example, you wrote a function and it has an argument called x. You never used it. Now, yeah, I could turn it off by playing games with the compiler, or I could just remove W extra or remove all this stuff, right? But then it's not going to warn me against other things that might be wrong with my program that I really do care about right now. In fact, some functions might need to be stubbed in like this, and other ones might actually exist. Like, for example, if this was an implementation of a virtual function that has parameters that this particular class that I might be editing, for example, doesn't use, then you go to full production code and you're never going to use that argument. So what do? How do you shut up the compiler? There's a couple of ways to do this. I choose this way. This statement here says, use X, but don't do anything with it. Now it's used, okay? And this line of code accomplishes nothing whatsoever other than telling anyone who looks at your code and the compiler that you have an argument called X, it's right here, and I'm not going to use it in this function because I don't want to, okay? And now the compiler's okay. So this is one way to get rid of this annoying warning, all right? And like I said, there are times when you really need this. If, you're working on a job and your employer says you have to use all these flags, or your teacher says you have to use all these flags. And it gets annoying because, you want to stub in your functions in order to evolve your program. Well, that's one way to just stub these things in and continue to use all these flags to find all your other errors. Thanks for watching. See you later.